All right, so we're back for another deep dive. This time, we're tackling project risk identification, but with a twist. We want to look at how to do it fast, how to get a solid grasp on potential risks quickly. And we're going to use Project Management for Project Managers by Orlando Casabone to help us explore this.
Sounds good. Always a fan of finding efficient solutions.
Exactly, exactly. And I think this is a scenario that, many project managers find themselves in, right? Where you're maybe brought into a project, maybe you don't have all the information you'd like to have. In this case, let's say it's a SAP installation project.
Okay, yeah. SAP, big systems, lots of moving parts.
Lots of moving parts. And all you've got is that project scope statement. That's it. And oh, by the way, an external project manager is going to supervise.
All right, so you're coming in kind of blind, limited info, external PM. Got it.
Right. And you need that list of potential risks like yesterday. How do you approach that?
Yeah, I see. I see the challenge. So your first instinct might be to just start, you know, brainstorming, listing out every single thing that could possibly go wrong.
Right. Like just get it all out there, right?
Yeah.
Every possible risk.
Right, but is that really the most efficient way to get to the real heart of the matter?
I guess not when you're under pressure, right? You need to focus on the big stuff.
Precisely. And think about this. Every project has its own quirks, right?
Mhm.
But there are often common pitfalls, especially when you're talking about specific types of projects, like a SAP installation.
Right, makes sense. So where do you go then, if not just brainstorming every possible risk?
Well, the most efficient way, especially when time is tight, is to leverage the experience of others who have already walked that path.
Hmm.
In this case, your gold mine is that external project manager.
Oh, interesting. Tap into their experience.
Exactly. Talk to them.
Hmm.
Find out what hasn't worked in previous SAP implementations. You'll be amazed at what you learn from that.
Yeah, it's like a shortcut, right? Like a cheat sheet almost to the
Yeah.
the real potential problems.
Exactly. Instead of trying to reinvent the wheel or just guess, you're going straight to someone who has the scars to prove what can actually go wrong.
And I imagine that's especially valuable when you're dealing with complex systems like SAP, right? There
Yeah.
are probably nuances that an outsider wouldn't even think of.
Absolutely. They can point out specific risks that are unique to SAP installations. Things that might not even cross your mind just by looking at the scope statement.
Okay, now I'm thinking in a situation like this, you might be tempted to reach for some standard project management tools.
Right.
Maybe a work breakdown structure or a risk management plan or a risk register. Do those come into play here?
They certainly have their place, but in this specific scenario, they're not your first line of defense. You know, a work breakdown structure, that's your blueprint. It tells you what needs to be done, but not necessarily what could go wrong.
Okay, I get that. So WBS, not so much help here. What about a risk management plan?
Now, a risk management plan, that's your overall strategy. Is how you're going to deal with risks once you've identified them. But it doesn't actually help you identify those risks in the first place.
Right. It needs that input.
Exactly. And a risk register, well, that's just a list of the risks you've already identified. And if you're just starting out, that list is probably pretty empty.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it really is about tapping into that experience, that practical wisdom before you even start filling out those documents.
Exactly. It's about getting that head start, that knowledge that's been hard won, you know, through actual experience.
So it's almost like learning from the mistakes of others, even if you weren't there to witness them firsthand.
Absolutely. It's invaluable, and it
Yeah.
can really help you focus your attention early on and potentially avoid some major headaches down the road.
Now, it's important to clarify here, right, that this quick approach, it's not a replacement for a thorough risk management process later on.
Absolutely not. This is about getting that quick insight, that initial momentum, but a full risk management process is still essential.
Okay, so just to wrap up this deep dive, the key takeaway here is that when you need to identify those project risks quickly and you don't have a lot of information to go on, your best bet is to talk to someone who's been there, done that.
And not just any conversation, right?
Right,
Specifically, ask them about what went wrong in similar projects. Focus on those past failures.
right, exactly. So it's not just about experience, it's about targeted experience. You're looking for those specific lessons learned.
And it's fascinating to think about how This approach really helps to cut through the noise. You're not just brainstorming everything under the sun. You're going straight to the heart of what could realistically go wrong.
And it makes you think, right? Like how else can we apply this idea of learning from past experiences, especially failures, to other areas of our lives?
Right? It's a powerful concept, and it really prompts us to think about how we can all become better at capturing those lessons learned and then applying them.
Well, if you're interested in exploring more of these practical project management strategies, we highly recommend checking out Project Management for Project Managers by Orlando Casabon. It's a treasure trove of wisdom and real-world advice.
Definitely worth a read.
All right, and on that note, we'll wrap things up for today. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
Thanks for having me.